what's happening. If you're joining, we're working on the LUXE paintball marker parts, and right now I'm doing white. So we're going to be doing the grip module here in a second. Getting started on that. But I got a lot of parts to paint, and I'm just trying to get all the blasted parts. These are all blasted down. I'm working on those. The marker has a lot of parts. So right now we're just getting the kind of the tack coat down first. I like to get a nice light coat down so you can still technically see through it. And then once that coat's down, and camera it might look okay, but once that coat's down, I move on to the next part. By the time I get done with all the parts, it'll be dry enough for me to move on to the next coat. So on these parts with white, I'll definitely do 3 coats. And this design is going to get, some parts are going to get red with a pattern on it, which I'll show the pattern here in just a second. But yeah, we're getting all these parts painted, answering questions for anybody that's got questions. That's your base of the grip. And we're just working. Will, would you do me a favor? Will you bring me the mock-up tube that's on the bench? So if you play paintball, then you know that most of the parts for paintball are usually anodized or something like that. So we're doing something a little bit different. And in this case, we're going to be doing kind of a 2-color Damascus without all the mixed in colors, just to keep it nice and clean. So we managed to get a seamless Damascus, and then we'll do the rest of it white. This is a piece of PVC, so it's all beat to shit. And then we're going to be doing this guy right here, shot by CJK, and then Shot Squad, which is a little emblem go. So we're going to get his logos and everything on here, and then this pattern's going to go all over, including the hopper. So the top of the hopper is red, so we got a bright red top hopper, and then we'll do all the Damascus stenciling. We'll go wrap around this, and we'll spray black, and that'll give us that pattern. And the bottom of the hopper is going to be just the clean white with the red lettering and accessories, which will go in. We'll put those back in place on here. So yeah, that'll be all good. But for now, we just got a lot of painting to do for white. This portion of the barrel is going to be the part that's on like the PVC, so we're going to do it in that Damascus look. The inner portion of the barrel will be pure white, and the base of, I guess, the upper section of the grip here is going to get where his logo and stuff goes. So actually, I might as well throw some paint on this. So again, we're just, if you're joining in, appreciate it. We're just getting this base coat thrown down and getting all the cracks recoated. Since it's been in the glass cabinet, we want to make sure everything has some paint on it, so we don't leave raw metal in there. And definitely one of the hardest jobs I've ever done, just due to the amount of parts. I guess it's probably why a lot of people don't get their stuff customized, because the cost is pretty major. But I think it's going to be dope. There definitely will not be another paintball marker on the planet that looks like this one, because it's never been done like this. There are people that do Cerakote and Duracoat on paintball markers, but it's very few and far between. So Definitely something we're trying a little bit different here in gunning because it's not something I had done before. I've done airsoft and real guns, and of course goat guns, game controllers, just about anything. But it's the first time I've done a paintball gun, so it's coming along. Definitely need better lighting in here, but I'm blind because I'm staring at the bright white light. So every time I look at you, everything's dark. Yeah, so that's what we got going on here. So I'll probably do it again and go live once I start laying the stencils down, which will probably be, I might be able to start laying stencils tomorrow. Yeah, we're getting that white base. And white base. Right now I just got that really thin coat on. We're going to let that set up, move on to the next part. God Cicada, what's up? Hi. Alright, so here's one we painted earlier, so we're going to throw the next coat on that. There you go. Now you can start to see how that looks with a nice clean finish on it. And it'll have just a little sheen but not glossy. Once this is done, this is a two-part paint, so it's going to be really hard. And I usually demonstrate this by taking like brown or gray Scotch-Brite and trying to scuff the paint up after it's done. And it usually freaks people out because once the paint job's done, it is really hard to scratch it and take the coating off. So just keep on going. And for painting, if you don't know, it's basically just really focused on that clean, smooth, steady line. So you get a nice, even, really pretty coating. See, that white looks really good on there. Moving on to the next part. Go. Smooth. We got a couple more of these small parts to do. Then I gotta figure out a way I'm gonna do these barrels. So I'll get this done here. Now this paint isn't like spray paint, so I don't have to worry about, for typical application anyway, I don't have to worry about how thick it is. In the way that I paint, meaning that I don't have to worry about like, is a screw going to go back in if I paint inside here, for example. You can see in there. So if I paint inside of there, I don't have to worry about whether I'm going to be able to rethread it. I just put enough paint in there to make sure that everything is coated and protected, and then everything will screw in just fine. All the small parts, the little slots right here where the screw goes on that hole, everything will go right in with no problem. This piece is the collar, and we're going to actually put the YouTube logo right on the front there. The guy we're doing this for is a pretty avid paintballer and got a pretty good channel, which once this live is over, I'll add the link to his channel. So we're doing this together as a collaboration, and yeah, see where it goes. Because, like I said, we haven't really done paintball guns before, paintball markers before, and so I really want to try something a little bit different. how that goes. All right, we're gonna grab this hopper. There we go, there's our hopper. This has been painted, but I'm gonna put one last little smooth coat on it. Just because it's gonna take a beating, I wanna make sure it's got plenty on it. As you can see, there's your hopper. It already looks pretty nice. Now this was a used hopper, so it was beat to crap when I got it. So we spent some time fixing scratches and holes and filling gashes the best we can. There's still going to be a few, but it's not too bad. That's not too bad. But that looks pretty nice. But this thing, I was asked, like, what happens if you hit it with paint? And I'm like, well, you wash it off. It's going to be just fine. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and get this coat on there. So there's a lot of angles to it. This hopper is going to look really good with the red accents from the badges and stuff that go in it. I think that'll look really great when we're all done. So the brush that I'm using is a 0.8, and I have a mini HVLP that I can shoot with. But this really allows me to make sure I get all the details, so I can get in all the cracks much easier. There you go, that'll show you. Yeah, nice and white. You get a little bit of a sheen to it, but the paints that I use are not glossy. You can clear coat them and make them glossy, but I do everything with either a satin. Most of what I do is like tactical stuff. If you're just checking in, I'll show you what we're working on here. So this is going to be the pattern that we're doing, and that'll go on the hopper, the top of the hopper. The base of the hopper will be white, and then the tubes, this paint tube is going to have this pattern on it. The secondary portion will have the white on it, and this is just a piece of PVC that is all beat up, but then we'll have his. There you go, if you want to check him out. He's shot by CJK. He's part of the shot squad, and so we'll be having his logos and everything put on there, but this is just to make sure that he likes the pattern. And that pattern will go on the top of the hopper. It's going to be pretty dope, I think. So we're going to go ahead and get the white get going on this, and we're going to get some nice smooth finish on this bad boy. White takes 2 to 3 coats. It's probably 3 to 4 coats to get it. One, you want it thick enough to cover everything, but you want to make sure that the color is consistent. So when you're painting, part of the blasting it to make it all one color helps a lot. So when you spray your white's all the same color everywhere. Or if you tried to paint something that was all like had black in it or different colors in it, it'd make it a lot harder. You can cover it because this paint's pretty thick for coverage wise anyway, but it just takes a lot more coats. So in this case, this second coat will be the final coat for now, and then I'll come back once it's cured tomorrow, and I'll put the final top coat on it, which will give us a really nice smooth finish. It'll allow me to check for imperfections, but this is what we got right now. You can see that. So it gives you a little bit of the sheen. Yeah. So there we are. So that is, we got one of the major parts left, but I've got a we've got to do something to it that we found in the process of taking it apart. So I'm going to basically, the next step now is to get, I got to get something to fit in here so I can hold this and paint it. So bear with me, I'm going to get that rolling. And that's just going to be basically sticks and tape. You get to see my beautiful face really close up. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to find a nice heavyweight stick like this that'll hold the tube, and we wrap enough tape on that bad boy to go up in the tube and hold it. So we're just going to get this wrapped. All we need is a static enough to get in there and hold that tube in place so it doesn't move on us. Like this right here. We're going to go a little bit thicker so it doesn't slide. But yeah, that's about it. And then we'll be ready to get a base coat put on that. Oh, the top of the hopper, this is the ring. It used to be anodized, but we're doing it in red so it matches everything. You can see it has a nice sheen to it. Not glossy, but a nice little sheen. And then we'll get, once that all gets reassembled, I'll have some videos up. I've already got a couple of shorts up if you want to check those out. Some disassembly pieces. I didn't do a video of like the actual disassembly because I didn't know what the hell I was doing, so I'm learning as I go. So doing disassembly videos would have been really challenging, and you probably would have just listened to me cuss a lot while I'm trying to figure out how to do this thing. This is definitely a crazy ass project, but it's pretty fun. Don't get excited about the rod. There we go. So we're getting ready to throw some paint on this bad boy now. And I'm just going to get a little paint up inside the tube there. We don't need to worry about it being super detailed. We just want enough to protect everything inside. And then we're going to get these threads. There we go. Again, if you are interested in painting at all, you start spraying off, you end spraying off. Nice even strokes to keep it. That's our base coat. So that is basically transparent still. You can still see the metal underneath it. And then we'll, again, second coat like everything else, and we'll be good to go. Now I'm going to make another rod for the larger piece of the tube, which is this one right here. So this guy, it's going to look really good with that pattern on it. So if you're just joining in, looks like we have some newcomers. We're doing this pattern, which is a simple two-color Damascus, basically, and it's going to go on the paintball tube. White with the guy's branding on it. If you want to check him out, he's right there. Yeah. So that's all we're working on right now, is getting all these base coats on for white. So beautiful work as always. Oh, thank you. Sid, Vicious Sid. Appreciate you being on. Love to know where people tuning in from. Who plays paintball? Anybody play paintball? We get a couple more minutes on this live, and I'm gonna shut her down. Just gonna go ahead and throw this last little bit of paint on here, and get this going. And I'm almost out of paint, so I'm not gonna mix anymore for now, because I will wait for this all to cure up a little bit before I put that next coat on. So once again, we just nice and easy strokes. It takes a little practice going in straight lines, but then we just, again, we want to work on that nice smooth coating. And this is, once this tacks up, of course, we'll go that next one. So yeah. This is the hopper now. You can see that it's dry to the touch. So I painted this a few minutes ago. Now it's still soft, but I can actually touch it without messing the paint up. That is the 2-part paint that we use called Duracoat, and it dries very quickly. So by tomorrow, I'll be able to reassemble this, and the red hopper will start getting stenciled. I can start stenciling this in 2 to 3 hours if I was going to lay stencils on it, because the paint will dry enough for me to work on it that fast. Now I gotta go here. This one is still transparent, so we're gonna throw that coat down. Let me pull this out just a second. There we go. And we're gonna run this inner tube again. Short little burst. I'm just getting coating on the inside of the tube so that it's protected. And then we'll go ahead and put this second coat on, which will make it look almost finished, but it's going to need one more solid coat after that. Now if I'm using the Mini H Build P, it'll throw a whole lot more paint. And I would cover this thing super fast. But I tend to like to work with a little bit finer spray. It gives me a really clean finish. It's a little bit slower doing it this way, but the finish is really nice. It also helps it dry well, but you can see there, that's just the second coat. So once this cures, the top coat will make it really clean, really shiny. It'll have a little bit of a gloss. The white's real smooth and has a little bit more sheen than some of the other colors. So to the touch, it'll still feel smooth, but not quite as like anodization is like super smooth, almost slippery. And that's one of the things the client really liked, is that this wasn't slippery. It was still smooth to the touch, but not as smooth as like a polished finish. So yeah, that's kind of where we are. Wrapping up now. And cool. We're going to wrap it up. I appreciate you guys jumping on. Again, if you're interested, check out the videos. When this is all said and done, I'll have a full video which will show bits and pieces as we have gone, kind of from start to finish. And I'll probably do a live as I'm starting to work on the stenciling, because it's very complex. And it'll be, if you're interested in that, you can learn a little bit more about how we do the stenciling and laying that out, because they're going to be large spaces to work on. So appreciate you sticking around. Deuces.